What's up, U.S. history students? Want to take a minute and talk about a couple assassinations that happened in the 60s. And I think I'm going to do one video on each of the four characters we should talk about in class, starting with the guy on your screen, JFK. And then we'll look at Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., and Bobby Kennedy. Okay, we'll just do them in the order in which they happened. We're going to start with the most famous one, which is the assassination of JFK in Dallas, Texas. And just so you got a couple things here on this picture, obviously JFK on the left, his wife seated next to him in the pink. And then this is Governor Conley, who also gets hit by a bullet because he's seated directly in front of President John F. Kennedy. I'll have a really good link to a documentary that came out in the early 2000s from ABC News called Beyond Conspiracy. It's like an hour and 20 minutes long. So if you have time, take a look at it. It's really good. It walks through some Lee Harvey Oswald stuff, the assassin. It walks through different conspiracy thoughts and theories, and it sticks with that it's Lee Harvey Oswald, but you can make that decision on your own. But it's really interesting. And in class, we watch a good chunk of it, not necessarily the whole thing usually. So he will be arriving in Dallas, Texas, JFK, and he will be obviously, as you can see in the picture, riding around in an open convertible top car, which we do not do anymore with our presidents for obvious reasons. And this takes place in November 22, 1963. And here's a shot from kind of the angle that they believe Lee Harvey Oswald was up in this book depository warehouse building where he took his fateful shots, right? And he hits Governor Conley because one of the bullets passes through JFK and hits the governor seated in front of him. You can see some of the Secret Service now rushing to the side of the car, and Jackie Kennedy, his wife, right, kind of grabbing and clutching her husband who's been assassinated at this point. The autopsy photos reveal a couple things. Obviously, two shots that hit JFK, the first one passing through his upper back and out his neck, and the second one being the fatal one that hit him in the head, obviously. And those photos were part of this group, and they ultimately released called the Warren Commission, which was told to kind of look at who killed John F. Kennedy, because there's all these different conspiracies. Is it the Cubans and Fidel Castro because JFK tried to take him out of power? Is it the Russians because we're in the Cold War with them? Is it the mob or the mafia because the Kennedys were going after organized crime and they wanted the Kennedys out of the way? So this group, the Warren Commission, investigates it, and they come to the conclusion that it's this guy in the picture, Lee Harvey Oswald, who acted alone, and he's got a very intriguing past, ties to Russia, Cuba, those kind of things, also in the military. And it'll explain some of that in the video, and we don't have time to do it in this one. But if you watch that video, we'll go into Lee Harvey a little bit. And so the Warren Commission determines it's Lee Harvey. Now, part of the thing that allows theories to kind of circulate is you can see in the picture on the right, Lee Harvey Oswald isn't questioned for very long. He's being escorted out of the Dallas police station, and this guy on the left, Jack Ruby, jumps out and guns him down and kills, right, the alleged assassin. And so we lose the assassin, right? We lose Lee Harvey Oswald. He's murdered. And this also ties into the mafia because Jack Ruby had ties to the mob. And so maybe it was the mob that wanted JFK gone, and they put this hitman then on Lee Harvey Oswald so Lee Harvey Oswald wouldn't spill the beans that the mob hired him or something, right? Again, Warren Commission says that's not the case, but a lot of conspiracy theories, and part of the thing that make the JFK assassination an interesting piece of history. Famous pictures, right? Air Force One, Lyndon Johnson will be sworn in next to JFK's wife. Funeral photos. This is Bobby Kennedy, who was an important character. We'll talk about his assassination as well in the 60s, and JFK's wife and kids then, right, at the funeral. And this is also a brother, Ted Kennedy, here standing next to his wife. Again, we spend about 2 days on the JFK assassination in class usually. Watch that video. It's really interesting. I know it's a little bit on the long side, but check the links, watch those clips, and if you got questions, leave them in the comment section or shoot me an email. Have a great day. Next time, we'll talk about Malcolm X.